Hello BookTube, Sarah here and welcome to my channel. Today I'm coming to you with my Harlequin anticipated reads for May of 2018. So if you are new to my channel, what I do every month is I like to talk about one book from each of the Harlequin imprints that is coming out the next month that I kind of want to highlight for you guys that sounds like it's going to be extra good. I love all the Harlequin novels and you know, I do want to highlight some of the ones that sound like they might be a little bit more interesting than the others. So let's jump in and get started. So as usual, I'm going to tell you the title of the book and all that, and also read the little bit off the back of the book just to give you guys a little bit more information because, of course, these haven't been released yet. So we're going to start off with Harlequin Dare, which is their most steamy series, or imprint, I should say, and these are also only available on ebook. I think I've forgotten to mention that before. So, the book that I'm going to talk about is Legal Attraction by Lisa Childs. This is book number 2 in the Legal Lovers series, and it says, criminally handsome divorce lawyer Ronan Hull decriminated Muriel Sansa's reputation to win her ex a higher settlement. In retaliation, she wants to kill his career. They should hate each other, but they can't keep their hands or their lips to themselves. If they don't destroy each other in court, they may destroy each other in the bedroom. I just kind of love the whole flipping of that trope. It's not really a trope, but you hear about it quite often. Like, it's a joke, and it's gone back for years, that, you know, a husband and wife will get divorced, and the wife will end up starting a relationship with her divorce lawyer. But the fact that this woman's starting a relationship with his divorce lawyer is very interesting. So, sounds steamy, sounds good. I'm looking forward to it. Next up, Harlequin Desire. This is One Night to Forever by Josh Wood. This is book number 5 in the Ballantine Billionaires series. It says, Lachlan Litmore is the long-lost Ballantine daughter, but she wants no part of her famous family. Too bad the paparazzi missed the memo. Enter Remy Jepson, the wealthy security expert who's vowed to keep his best friend's sister safe, even if that means moving in, staying close, and giving in to the forbidden. I think this is a really cute cover. It sounds like a great premise, a very typical cliche kind of idea in romance with the whole bodyguard and, you know, a very wealthy female, but it sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun. Josh Wood is a newer author, as far as I know, but really good books, and I'm going to, I think, enjoy this one quite a bit. Next up is Harlequin Heartwarming, which is their line of books that is very clean. There is no sexual content, but there's also no religious aspect. They're just a nice, clean story. And this one is The Twin Test by Rula Sinara. This is book number 5 in the From Kenya with Love series, and this one sounds so interesting. Earthquake expert Dax Calder brings his 11-year-old twins to the Serengeti to fulfill a promise to his late wife, never leave the girls. Meeting free-spirited teacher Pippa Harper feels like serendipity. She's the perfect nanny for his mischievous twosome, even if her definition of rules is slightly different than his. But there's one rule Dax never expected to break, falling in love again. I love that it takes place in the Serengeti, and, you know, that he's an earthquake expert, like, such interesting types of characters and settings, and that's why that one obviously got added to this list. Next up, we have a Harlequin historical. Lady Cecily and the Mysterious Mr. Grey by Janice Preston. This is book number 3 in the Beauchamp Betrothals series. Sorry, I can talk. It says, Lady Cecily Beauchamp has always put her family first, until she falls under the spell of the mysterious Zachary Grey, a man of Romany descent. Knowing her family will forbid their match, Cecily steers herself to do her duty and marry someone else. Only she finds herself irresistibly drawn to Zach, as the spark between them ignites as passion neither can deny. So it's a typical, you know, perhaps marrying beneath your station kind of idea. It is a Regency, I believe, and yeah, it sounds like it's going to be really good. Next up is a Harlequin intrigue novel, and that is Endangered Eris by Barb Hahn. This is book number 2 in the Crisis Cattle Barge series. And it says, when a wealthy Texas oilman is murdered, the tiny community of Cattle Barge, Texas is turned upside down. And rancher Hudson Dale's former cop instincts are on high alert, especially when lovely Madeline Kensington crashes into his life claiming she's the heiress of the deceased, and someone wants her dead. The sexy cowboy offers his help and protection. They're always sexy cowboys, are they not? Now Madeline must trust a complete stranger with her life. But would she trade her insurance for his love? So, another bodyguard type story, but, sounds good. Next up is a Harlequin romance novel, and the reason I picked this one right off the bat is because in May is the royal wedding. Prince Harry to Meghan, is that her name, Meghan? And, the whole world seems to be watching this, and, I just love the fact that romance novels are getting into this too. There is a store in Los Angeles, I actually follow them on Twitter because I often see a lot of great book recommendations from them, and the store is called The Rip Bodice, and they sell primarily only romance novels. Unfortunately, they actually don't sell Harlequin novels, which I find a little odd, but each to their own. But their entire window display that they showed for, this coming month is actually dedicated to royal romance novels. And they actually have a picture of Prince Harry and Meghan in the window, right? Kind of capitalizing off this whole royal wedding fever thing going on. So that's why I picked this one, because it kind of goes with what's happening in May as well. And that is Rescuing the Royal Runaway Bride by Ali Blake. This is the first book in the Royals of Valmont series. On the way to the Valmont royal wedding, Will Darcy's overblown sense of chivalry leads him to rescue a damsel in a muddy wedding dress. And yes, it's the princess-to-be. While the media fever dies down, they're holed up in one hotel room where irresistible Sadie makes buttoned-up Will reconsider his life. For once, work isn't his priority. Resisting the tantalizing runaway royal is. It sounds really cute, and again, going with that whole royal wedding thing. I'm debating on actually doing a video in May talking about royal romance. So if you guys are interested in that, please let me know in the comments below, and I will definitely put that video together for May. Next up, we have a Harlequin romantic suspense. Oops, I went a little too far. There it is. So this book, this one sounds so cute. Colten PI Protector by Regina Black. This is book number 5 of the Coltons of Redridge series. A sudden attack and dog napping leaves canine trainer Danica Gage shaken to her core. Even more surprising is her rescuer, PI Shane Colton. Years ago, her family stole Shane's freedom, and now Danica needs him to catch a criminal. And she must fight the urge to run into his arms because wanting him could be a deadly mistake. But I love how it starts with dog napping and it suddenly becomes murder. As long as they're not murdering the dogs, I am perfectly going to be okay with this book, but it sounds really cute, and there is a dog on the cover. The next book I want to talk about is a Harlequin Special Edition, and that is Her Wickham Falls Seal by Rochelle Alers. This is book number 2 in the Wickham Falls Weddings series, and it says, Aidan Gibson is devoted to his daughters. He's a former Navy SEAL, and he's gifted as a chef. But Taryn Robinson is living in his house and homeschooling his children, which makes Aidan completely off limits. Taryn knows she and the strong, sexy SEAL can only be friends. Or could she, Aidan, and the girls be the perfect family in the making? I think this one sounds absolutely adorable. Great little family romance. And very quickly, I did want to acknowledge the fact that I am noticing more and more every month that goes by the diversity that Harlequin is now including in their lines. And I think that's absolutely fantastic. They've had some fabulous, fabulous African-American authors writing for them, or Black authors. And it's not just the author's, perhaps background, but the fact that there's a lot more diversity on their covers as well. I mean, there's been some great books written even back, I think in the 1980s. There was an American romance, When Adam Met Eve, or When Eve Met Adam. I can't remember who wrote it now, but it did feature an interracial couple. And I mean, it's been very few and far between. And I am so pleased seeing it more often now. And, it's 2018. It should not have taken this long. But I just kind of wanted to acknowledge that. And I think it's great. And, these authors and books are just as fabulous. And, I love them. To me, I've always been of the frame of mind that I don't care what your gender is. I don't care what your religious belief is. I don't care what the color of your skin is. If you write a good book, you write a good book, and I'm going to read you. I'm going to read your books. I could go off an entire separate tangent on this, that I don't feel the need to specifically acknowledge the fact that I am reading a book by an author with fill in the blank, or what have you. I'm all for diversity. I think it's great. But I think that I'm going to go off on a whole tangent here, and I really don't want to, but I'm going to, so I apologize. I don't feel that, you should be made to feel guilty if you don't, read X number of books by an author with whatever the case may be. I don't feel that you should have to, feel pressured to do that. Read what you want to read. Read what makes you happy. I'm all for, doing what makes you happy. And, if you want to read nothing but contemporary romance by a certain author, then that's your preference. You shouldn't be made to feel bad if you're not. If you're not reading more diversely, or if you're not reading what have you. But anyway, sorry, whole separate tangent. I could do an entire video on that, but we won't do that. Neither the time nor the place. But I just wanted to acknowledge the fact that I am seeing this a lot more in Harlequin romances, and I think it's absolutely fantastic. And yeah, I'm looking forward to a lot more of it. So the next book I want to talk about is a Harlequin super romance, and this is Tennessee Rescue by Carolyn McSparren. Book number 1 in the Williamston Wildlife Rescue series. Although sadly, I see this as the only book so far. Obviously, it's the first book. Next month, so in June, will be the final month that Harlequin super romance are going to be published. Same with Harlequin, what they now call Western romance, but what used to be the American romance line. And I believe the Love Inspired Historical. It is going to be their final month next month. And it makes me sad because the American romance and the super romance were two of my very favorite. But let's talk about this book. Game Ranger Seth Logan's peaceful life is thrown into chaos. The second Emma French bangs on his door. The fiery blonde clearly doesn't know the first thing about country living or its dangers. She's illegally fostering baby skunks. And worse, she has Seth aiding and abating her. Never one to turn his back on a woman or an animal, Seth agrees to break the rules to help Emma, but only until the skunks are old enough to be returned to the wild and Emma goes back to her life in Memphis. Yet, as they care for the baby, Seth finds himself breaking another rule, one that he doesn't know will only lead to heartbreak. Never fall for a woman who doesn't want to stay. I love the fact that they're looking after baby skunks. I'm sorry, I think that's awesome. We have out here in the front is a porch, and it's the main steps that lead in and out of the building. And underneath, they had to close it off last year. We had a family of skunks, and last spring there were babies, and there were 8 of them, and they would hop all over our front lawn, and it was stinking adorable. They were our stinky little friends, as we called them. But they are just, like, honestly, they look like little kittens. They are so adorable. But the fact that they are aiding and abetting baby skunks, I just think is just super awesome, and this had to get added to the list. Next up is a Harlequin Western romance. Again, as I said, this is another series that this is their second last month in publication, which makes me sad. And this is To Trust a Rancher by Debbi Rawlins. This is book number 19 in the Made in Montana series. 7 years ago, a vicious lie drove Becca Hartman to run away from Blackfoot Falls, Montana, with her best friend Amy. Now the truth has finally brought Becca home, with Amy's little boy in tow. Becca's raised Noah as her own, so watching Noah meet his family, including Becca's old crush, rancher Ryder Mitchell, is terrifying. If Ryder finds out that Noah is his nephew, will he take the boy away? Ryder wants to blame Becca for his sister's wild behavior, yet as he spends time with the loving single mom and her son, he realizes she might be someone he could love if he can ever learn to trust her again. So it sounds really cute, a typical single mom kind of a cliche story, but yeah, I'm sure I'm going to really enjoy that one. And next up we have a love-inspired novel. Her Texas Cowboy by Jill Lynn. When Rachel Maddox returns to her hometown of Fredericksburg, Texas, avoiding her ex is much easier said than done. Still nursing the broken heart Rachel caused years earlier, rancher next door Hunter McDermott figures he could be as cordial for the brief time she's in town. Maybe they can even be friends. But how do you forge just a friendship with someone you've always pictured as your bride? It sounds adorable. It is a inspirational romance, and I am very much looking forward to eventually picking up that one to read. This one sounds so cute. It is a love-inspired historical, and it so reminds me, it kind of brings to light the fact that even though so much changes in the world, it doesn't change at the same time. Does that make sense? Like, right now we have the whole online dating thing and stuff like that, and but this one, let me read the back of it for you, and it might explain it a little bit better. When six-time mail-order bride Winifred Sattler is straddled in Deadwood, Dakota territory, she's grateful to find a temporary position at Mr. Ewan Burke's business until she can return home. Ewan is handsome but stuffy and serious, her complete opposite. Unlike her new anonymous correspondent, Mr. Businessman, who appreciates her bubbly optimism. To keep his mining company afloat, Ewan can't be distracted by Winifred's vivacious beauty. He needs a no-nonsense wife. Someone like Miss Thoroughly Disgruntled, the only respondent to his recent ad with whom he's truly connected. In person, Winifred and Ewan don't get along, but in their letters they're falling in love. Well, they discover a perfect match in each other. So literally they're writing letters to each other and they don't know that they are the other person. So that's what I mean. Like, now you've got like Tinder and Match and all these things where it's essentially the same thing. You really don't know who's on the other end of that email or that, instant message or what have you. But, you think that person is just perfect. And it's this, and again, how everything changes, but nothing changes. And I just think that that is absolutely adorable. And this one looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. And the last book I want to talk about, of course, is a love-inspired suspense novel. And this is Plain Outsider by Alison Stone. Also mentioning very quickly, coming up starting on Friday is going to be the Amish in April readathon. So I will leave a link to that video in the description box below if you want to have more information. This is a Amish suspense novel. Growing up Amish, Deputy Becky Spoth never fathomed she'd become the target of a relentless stalker. She left her Amish community to serve the people of her small hometown, not to become someone's prey. Newcomer Deputy Harrison James is the only one who believes she's in harm's way. Now her future is in the hands of this handsome stranger. So it sounds really good. Again, an Amish suspense romance, and they are. I'm looking forward to adding that one to my want to read list. But yeah, so anyway, guys, that is all the books that I have for this. Please let me know in the comments below if any of those books sound good to you, or if there's any Harlequin books that you're looking forward to coming out in May. Be sure to go on the harlequin.com website and check each of the series and see if there's any books. They always list the books for the next month, so you can definitely go on and check that out. And yeah, until my next video, guys, take care and happy reading. Bye.